Vinland Saga is a very special story to me. Perhaps one of my favourites because of its morals, but also just being a really cool series. Vikings were known for their brutality and courage. I mean, the way you got into heaven was to die in battle, so you can guess the story is full of some pretty cool action sequences. But see, I kinda just lied. There's a certain thing you might know about Vinland Saga, if you know anything about it, which runs counter to entirely what I just said. The series started off as a very shonen-y story, before really slowing down and introspecting on what it was saying. It begins to ask some pretty serious questions, ones I don't think many stories try to even approach. Why do humans love war? Why do humans suffer and inflict suffering on others? Why can I describe sending yourself to your own death as courageous? And you probably didn't have a second thought about it. War is a terrible thing. Instead of talking and coming to some compromise, we instead jump to hitting each other with sticks as our first resort. And yet despite that happening over and over, the wounds fresh from repeated conflict, we do it again. And people willingly go and inflict it. In trying to protect others from threat, you become the threat itself. All in the name of protecting your loved ones, you can become the very thing you want to destroy. But despite that, if war is so prevalent, suffering so ingrained in society, what is the meaning of life? If warriors seem to only fight and create pain, what is a true warrior? These questions are at the core of Vinland Saga, and the struggles the characters face in answering those questions for themselves. Each answer in a slightly different way, to different results. To Thorkel, a warrior is someone that wins. Thorkel only follows who he feels is the strongest.
Damn, that look in his eyes.
And is always ready to fight. His actions most of the time seem borderline psychopathic. He's probably the strongest character, yet probably takes the most damage due to how reckless he is. But he doesn't care. As long as he gets to go to Valhalla in the end, he's content. To Canute, a warrior is someone who believes the ends justify the means. Love doesn't exist in the hearts of men. The only love humans feel is in death, as it brings an end to that suffering. Only a malicious god could inflict that. And if that god does exist, then to Canute, it's his job to dethrone him.
If you refuse to give it to us, we will make our own. A paradise on this earth.
He doesn't care if he has to travel to the pits of hell, destroying and pillaging, becoming the most hated man in history, as long as he can make a paradise on earth. To Askeladd, a warrior is someone who acts. Askeladd was born into squalor, having to fight for his right to live. He hates the Danes for how they treated his mother, a descendant of the hero Artorias, who tells Askeladd is waiting in Avalon to return and free his people. Askeladd gave up on that dream, but still holds on to the idea that if Artorias won't return, he will become Artorias himself. If you want something, you should take it yourself. But one man cannot change the world, and Askeladd being surrounded by what he thinks is filth means he sees no point in living. The world is cruel and unjust, but he would rather just see the world burn than try to fix it, just as long as he can save his people. To Thors, a warrior is a man who protects his family, but knows when it's too far. His Viking valor is spoken of as if he's a living legend, but you wouldn't guess that from how he acts. He is the one who tries to teach Thorfinn that violence is bad, who tells him he has no enemies, even if Thorfinn doesn't understand that, and Thors isn't around to teach him for long. To Thorfinn, a warrior is. Thorfinn from a young age only knew battle, but it was because of his own wrath that he was forced to. I'm gonna kill you! He hates Askeladd. He wishes to only kill him, despite being plagued by visions of his father telling him to stop.
Do you believe what you're doing now would make me happy?
An early part of the story is dedicated to displaying how this affects Thorfinn, the effect that violence and conflict can have on even such a small boy. When Thorfinn is injured, an English mother takes him in to recover. She knows full well he's probably Danish, but doesn't care. She thinks this whole war thing is just the folly of men who think they know better, and Thorfinn is just some boy. What could he do? Thorfinn calls in Askeladd's band. You see that he is fully capable of inflicting pain. He's an animal, moulded by his circumstances, and when the woman finds him, daggers fresh with English blood. This look to me has never been a look of despair at Thorfinn killing, at the fact she'll probably be dead soon, or worse, but that such a small boy was capable of it. That Thorfinn was made into this by the world. A world full of evil, an innocent boy corrupted. He's seen unimaginable horrors, and he did the only thing he could. He lashed out back at it. It takes him to his logical conclusion. By making the world his enemy, Thorfinn was always going to be broken by it. The drive was so weak that even when faced with Askeladd's death, he can't hate him. He can't be happy about it, because all it did was leave him empty. Nothing changed, nothing was gained, nothing was lost. So what was the point of any of it? Not to get too deep into it, but from a very young age, I had to learn how to behave like a grown-up, support myself and do my best, because I was the only person I could rely on. I deep down wanted to be someone or somewhere else. I wanted to escape, run away, go somewhere, anywhere, just somewhere where I didn't have to feel how I did. So I did run away. I retreated to stories, but not to simply dope myself. I wanted to better understand what I was feeling, how to fix it, and get what I wanted. I didn't need anyone else, because all they did was hurt me. My point is that when I read Vinland Saga, I saw myself a lot in Thorfinn. But Vinland Saga gave me something. It showed me the flaws of that view of the world. I saw that the way I behaved, selfishly lashing out and making out the world was against me, did nothing but isolate me more. After Askeladd died, Thorfinn had no reason to live. He did unspeakable things. He spread evil with no regard for its effects. He doesn't think he deserves anything, not even the respect that death would give him. If life wants him dead, he'll stick his neck out to make it easier for it. But otherwise, he'll just keep waiting for that to happen. But by meeting Einar, he begins to realize how foolish that is. Einar has every right to hate him. Thorfinn is the type of person that destroyed his home and killed his family, but he still doesn't hate him, because he sees that Thorfinn isn't the one in front of him now. This Thorfinn understands the weight of his mistakes, and that's enough punishment by itself. If I ever wanted to move past my pain, I needed to begin to accept the world for how it was, but not accept it has to stay that way. Things happen to me for no reason, but that doesn't give me some past to feel sorry for myself. I put more hate into the world, even after deciding against it, but I realised it was wrong very soon after. I may never make up for it, but I can try my hardest. But Thorfinn still lacked a direction in life. He had forgiven himself for his past, but still didn't know what to do with his future. Being empty isn't the worst thing. It makes it easier to build up a new you, if you have nothing to start with. It won't be easy, but you can reach it, one step at a time. Through experiencing more of the injustice in the world, Thorfinn gained a new meaning, a new reason to live. If death is the only reprieve, a better option than living, then why do we keep going? To change that for others. That's why. He decides he wants to create his own paradise.
Across the mighty sea, there's a place few have seen. It's called Vinland.
A place where no swords are needed, where war and slavery are absent, because that's the world he wants. And if met by someone standing against him, he won't destroy them.
I'll run.
Violence is the final resort, not the first. Vinland was the name the Scandinavian explorer Leif Erikson gave the Americas upon discovering it. A warm, lush continent opposed to the cold brutality of Europe, a better world. But it's more than just a place. It's a concept that can exist anywhere in the world. Life may be meaningless, but that just makes it easier to give it meaning ourselves. He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. It doesn't matter what that why is, as long as it's enough to keep you going. Without pain, I wouldn't have searched so hard for my why. I wouldn't have found my answer. I wouldn't have struggled to implement it. I wouldn't have met all the people I have. I probably could have started this little YouTube thing a little bit earlier than I did, but what I do now is also kind of intense. I don't think I would have made the same decisions if I spent my time how I do now, and that means my social interactions would probably be a lot different. I might have been in similar circles, but not the circles I'm in right now, and I frankly can't imagine a world without these people now. So I wouldn't wish my life any other way. I spend a lot of time in Twitch streams, probably too much, but it mainly comes down to how I enjoy making people laugh.
You know Vegeta? No.
Vegeta?
Vegeta?
What?
Helping them and giving them advice.
Head please children, I don't care.
Even if I only change one person today, make them feel a little bit better.
Cat scoliosis.
It's the same thing that others gave me in hard times, that I'm still given.
Happy birthday to Zuck. All the bot people suck. I hope you choke on my
That lets me keep going. I desire to only bring a smile to the world, or through talking about my suffering and experience, give someone a tool to deal with their own lives. And as long as I can do that, I'll endure whatever life throws at me. I want to make a better world, for myself, and my friends and peers, but also for my enemies. What even is an enemy? I don't see a point in creating a world with less misfortune, but then labeling others as people against that. Thorfinn realized what his father meant. By stating you have no enemies, you decide to not antagonize others, simply on the pretense of being on opposing sides.
Today's the first I've met any of you. We know nothing about one another.
You probably hold more in common with them than you think, but just disagree on a handful of things that make you fight. They may be cruel and hateful, but that doesn't mean you have to be the same. A true warrior needs no sword, as a sword is only useful for killing. It's a tool of war and destruction, not one of understanding and love. So what is a true warrior? What's the correct way of life? A true warrior is someone that lives by one rule, a rule that drives every action they make, and leads them to strive for a better world, in whatever way they think that is.
Beyond the sea. Far to the west.
I want to say thank you to my patrons, who for only $3 Aussie a month support what I do, while also getting their names featured at the end of the video. So thank you. You help make this content possible. Okay, bye.
I'm done eating.
Oh, I minimized it!